Well, it's more bad news for Harry and Meghan today, isn't it? And I think we all agree you just hate to see it. The £18 million deal with Spotify has been binned after just 12 episodes. Meghan hosted one series where she interviewed celebrities and historians about the history of stereotypes aimed at women, allegedly. Here's a flavour of the content that Meghan provided.
In other words, I think what Robin's getting at, and what these people are implying when they use that very charged word, is that this woman, she's difficult. Which is really just a euphemism, or probably not even a euphemism. It's really a code word for the B word.
Have a day off. I mean, anyway, I'm delighted to be joined in the studio now by the one and only Kinsey Schofield, an absolute legend. Kinsey, how are you?
I'm great. I mean, we haven't even discussed the fact that archetype is not the same as stereotype. Why wouldn't you name your podcast Stereotype?
That's true. I mean, so the name was off. But we're in a situation now where Meghan Markle has been binned by mutual consent. Yeah,
That's exactly. A big wink. That's a big wink.
What do you think the damage of this will be to her and to Harry?
I do think that this is not the first time that we've seen Harry and Meghan say that they left on their own terms or this was a mutual agreement. And brands and individuals are going to start cautiously wanting to avoid working with them. I think that this is proof that they are challenging. You saw the BBC come out with that report saying that they would have never shown that Netflix documentary because it was the editorial-wise was controlled by Harry and Meghan. They're controlling, they're challenging to work with, and that's why they only produced 12 episodes in 3 years.
They have, essentially. They can try and dress this up any way they want, but it's laziness, isn't it? I mean, if you're paid... I've said this before, I don't mind saying it again, I will do anything for $20 million. Anything. And the idea that I couldn't have produced another 8 podcasts for that amount of money is ridiculous.
And they did remember the original arrangement was that Harry and Meghan were going to be podcasting for Spotify. We got one episode. It was a Christmas special with Tyler Perry and Elton John. Nothing I, associate more with the birth of Jesus Christ than Tyler Perry and Elton John. And you're right, the same two friends. And so that was the only thing they produced for a while. Then Meghan was going to be solo. This was going to be Meghan rebranding herself. And then she only produced 12 episodes. It was supposed to be about normal people changing the world. And we got Paris Hilton.
You got Paris Hilton.
We got Serena Williams.
Yeah.
These were not normal people changing the world.
Mariah Carey.
We love a good diva.
Yeah, well, exactly. And this was great as well, because, again, it just proved that there's something really going on with Meghan, because Mariah Carey called Meghan a diva. Meghan hated that and released a statement like, oh, my gosh, I didn't realise it. What did she actually mean?
Triggered.
Yeah, triggered. Well, maybe she called you a diva because you have behaved non-stop like a diva. From the old Meghan gets what Meghan wants. I don't like the way this cathedral smells at my multi-million-pound taxpayer-funded wedding. I mean, she is a diva, isn't she? I
think she's a diva. I think that they're challenging to work with. They have not produced the Heart of a Victus documentary for Netflix yet. Where is that? That is still pending. And I just don't think that they're capable of executing. They're so busy and full of vengeance that I think they're distracted with actually executing their work.
Is their brand finished? They've had loss after loss after loss. There was the slow-speed car chase through New York, the Fast and the Spurious, not the Fast and the Furious. Thank you, I'll keep dining out on that. There was also, of course, Harry's book. There's been at least one courtroom loss for Harry. We potentially await another one. We'll have to wait and see on all of that. Is this just it for them? Has the tide turned?
I think that today's a really bad day for Meghan Markle. She hates failing, and she's failing on a global scale. This is a huge audience that are watching, Pearl get canceled by Netflix before it even came to fruition. The Spotify, kicking her to the curb in front of the entire world. This is a hard time for them. And I think that they are really struggling to figure out their identity and what their next steps are. And wait, really quickly, I think it's being an influencer. I think she's going to have to resort to creating digital content because what else is left?
She's not going to do a Gwyneth Paltrow and make candles out of her what's-its, is she?
I wouldn't count it out.
Grief. I mean, good gosh, that is a slump, though, isn't it? But isn't this the problem about branding? So if she hadn't tried to brand herself as some kind of ethereal intellectual being who had managed to access a higher echelon of, intellect, then actually maybe she could have just gone and had a chat. But by trying to make every single conversation she has really meaningful...
Talking down to you.
I'm passing this information on to you and you're welcome. And actually people go, I think you might be a bit thick.
Yeah, you haven't taken phone calls from your dad. He's had like 6 strokes in the last 3 years. Meghan preaches about feminism, and the only reason she's been given that platform is because she married a prince.
Yeah.
I mean, the irony behind that. And I think that people are kind of looking at them going, God, you guys are so shallow and vacant.
And I suppose being an influencer is potentially what lies ahead. Do you think that once they maybe realise that they're not particularly well liked in Britain, that their brand as a couple doesn't appear to be working anymore, do you think they will stay together as a couple?
I mean, I do believe that the stress within their professional life does create chaos at home because they don't know where to go. And these are 2 people that are so controlling, insist that they know their next move and the right move, but they're making all the wrong moves, Patrick. Common sense says don't release a press release 12 hours later saying that there was a near catastrophic car chase if you're looking for privacy and you don't want this kind of negative attention. So I think that they need people in their lives that start to tell them, no, this isn't a good idea. They desperately need that.
And what is the reaction like in America at the moment to them? I mean, has the American public turned against them as well? Because, I mean, heaven forbid, but they might have to go back to Canada.
I'm in Los Angeles, and it's widely known that celebrities distance themselves from Harry and Meghan because they're drama and they don't want the association. Press, PR people say, we're not going to invite them to our red carpet because all eyes will be on them and they'll take away from our client. So I do think that people are shunning them, specifically in Hollywood, which is where they need to grow.
She claims that she didn't know what it was like to be treated like a black woman until she was with Prince Harry, and that the idea that being ambitious can be a bad thing is also essentially because she's black, and that's a problem. She didn't realise that since she met Harry either, supposedly. Do you think she hides behind racism, or actually can she not deal with the fact that people don't care what colour she is, they just don't really like her?
Yeah, I do think that you're absolutely correct. Meghan was a household name before she met Prince Harry. She was able to control her brand. She could send her bio and nobody would question it because who the heck was she? But now she's so big, people ask legitimate questions and she can't control the narrative anymore. And I think it drives her crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Kinsey, thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure. You've travelled a long way to be here.
Just to be on Patrick's show.
Just to be on my show. Just on my show. No other news shows at all. Look, Kinsey, thank you. Take care. Kinsey Schofield there, all the way from Los Angeles. Great stuff.